Hi everybody, June here from Red Daisy Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of San Antonio, Texas, and I'm here to share some alternate ideas using the January paper pumpkin. Oh my gosh. Um, it is special delivery. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. We're going to just do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope we'll have a few folks popping in to join us today for some crafting fun. But in the meantime, we are in the subscription period for the February paper pumpkin, which is called Celebrate Spring. It's a little bit Easter focused, but it's also spring focused, so it's very bright colors. It's a little bit whimsical, and it coordinates with some paper and I guess an overall suite that we have in the mini catalog that's out right now called Easter Joy. And that suite collection is item 166954. So I have ordered that so that we can have some fun with that for our next month's paper pumpkin. And the one after that is March, and that is going to be called Fluttering Garden. And I'm actually looking forward to that one because that's the one we get an extra stamp set with. And so don't miss out the fun. Join me. There's a link in the description box of this video for you to sign up to be a Paper Pumpkin subscriber with me, and I would love to be able to spoil you with goodies throughout the year. For people that stay with me for 6 months, get an extra little treat from me every 6 months that they are continuously enrolled in my Paper Pumpkin. So let's go ahead and go down to the table, and we are going to get started. So here we go. Let me just move things around here. All right. So how is everybody doing this week? I hope everybody's staying warm. I know it's been a little bit crazy with weather, but we're pretty crooked today, aren't we? Let me see if I can fix this just a tad. Straighten us out a bit. There we go. All right. So we unboxed the kit last week. And in case you missed that, these are the gorgeous cards that this kit makes. Honestly, you can make these cards and just make them as is. I mean, look at this one. Isn't this gorgeous? And you would be good to go. But you know me, I love to bring some alternate ideas to you guys. And so we're going to be playing with that. Hi, Wanda. Great to have you with us this evening. It's so fun to be here. I have my little cheater notes there. So I am bringing in some Azure Afternoon, and I also have a piece of Blueberry Bushel for the card base, but we're going to do some cutting. I'm also bringing in the DSP that is called Love Notes. I don't know if you've seen this or not. But if you make Valentine's, I'm sure you've seen it. It's got some really fun stuff. But I love that some of the colors in this DSP work with the kit. So I thought I would grab that. But I'm also going to show you some options for just using the envelope as opposed to this DSP from that kit. And today we're going to keep things simple. So we're going with some simple elements and ideas from that regard. So I'm going to go ahead and do some trimming. So I'm going to make 2 card bases out of this. And so I'm going to go ahead and score this 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock at 5.5. And then I am going to turn it, we're going to cut it at 4 1/4. And then we will automatically have 2 card bases. So we're going to start there. Then I am also going to trim this piece of cardstock down. And we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 inches by 5 1/4. And because we are going to be making basically 2 cards at the same time with basically a similar plan in action, but we're going to use different elements. So one is going to be using primarily things from the kit, and the other one is going to also be items from the kit, but we're going to bring in that extra DSP from the love notes. Okay. So now we have 2 pieces of blueberry bushel that are 4 inches by 5 1/4. I do have an inside for one of these, and I'm going to go ahead and trim this down to 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then we'll just do one inside. I'll have to complete the other one over another time. So I did go ahead and already cut this piece of DSP down to 4 by 5 1/4, but I'm going to actually trim it down a little bit more. So I'm going to trim it down to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. I have this little paper. It's got static, I guess, and so it's wanting to get stuck to my trimmer. All right, so 3 3/4 by 5. So there we go. This colder weather always brings the static out. So then we're going to go ahead and trim our envelope, and we're going to trim this down as well for that layer. And so we're going to just oh goodness, another piece wants to get stuck here. We're going to go ahead and trim this down to that 5 inches by 3 3/4. I am wondering if I can get it out of this side of the card of the envelope, but I don't think we will be able to do that. So we're going to go ahead and trim this off just past the fold line. Oh, my trimmer needs a new blade. Let's see. I think I have some handy here. So let's go ahead. I've been noticing that it needed a new blade. And whenever it starts to make, and the envelope paper is thin. So, but if you can see that, that's what happens when your trimmer blade is not very sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and change this one out. Let's stick that in there, and I think this is a new one. It looks like it. And we'll get rid of that. I know I have more over here if this is not going to work. So let's just give it a test. I'm going to just test, make sure. Oh yeah, that is much better. All right, so you will notice when your trimmer, the blade on your trimmer starts like causing little fuzz, or the cotton of the paper starts to split and makes that little hairy line. That is what happens, you know. You just change your blade, Tina. I know, it's when you need it, you need it. I'm so glad to see you. It's been a while. I have missed you. It's great to see you. All right, so once again, we're doing 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And just in case it matters, I am going to trim this on both ends to get to my 5 inches. So where am I at? Looks like I need to take about 3/4 of an inch off on each. Oh no, that won't be good. Must be, I'm going to do 3/8 and see where we get. I am not, ma'am. I'm so sorry. Just can't do that this year. I'm going to miss seeing everybody. I know. All right. So that's not perfectly even, but I think it will do the trick. So I'm going to keep those little pieces. I don't know. I might want them. All right. So now I have this piece here. And then I have these 2 elements as well. And we are going to trim, this is 3.5 inches, but I am going to trim it down to 1.5. And I'm going to do it on the second one as well to 1.5 by 3.5. And then we are going to start putting our card together. Now, while I'm here, I am going to go ahead and trim this piece. I would like a 1/2 inch of this for inside the card. And I'm going to trim this down to 5 1/4, just like that. And that we're going to use for the inside of our card. So, all right. So those are the pieces. Now, I am going to be using a few of these postage stamps from the images die cuts that came out of the kit. And I'm going to be using these pieces right here. Okay. This one, I would like to use it for a sentiment. And I am going to do that. But what I want to do is I want to cut it in half. Okay. And I want to make sure, because I'm going to use this love right here. So it does look like I can get 2 out of this. So let's see here what I can do. So, I think that's going to be right in the center. Right in the center. So it looks to be about 1 1/4 inch on each side. So you can see that is even. So we're going to have that piece right there. Now, because our focus on this card is more blues, I am going to bring in a different ink color. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first I want to show you my lovely little way that I store my my ink spots. So I got this lovely little tray from Stampin' Storage, which I think most of you are familiar with, but if you have questions, let me know. And I'm going to grab the Mossy Meadow, and we're going to use Mossy Meadow instead of the Poppy Parade today. Hello, great to see you. Thanks for joining. I know I'm so sad, Tina, that I'm not going to be there, but you understand. Life is busy, and so we cannot always do it all, right? So I'm going to grab this little mat just because it's handy, and my foam mat seems to always be away from me these days. And so I'm going to grab my Mossy Meadow ink spot, and this is clean. It looks, the ink does cause some staining, and so they are clean, but I want to just test it out, make sure. Good. All right, so I'm going to use this Sending Love. We're going to use this, and we are going to have it in this direction. So I'm going to just add this right on here, and I'm going to get as close to the right line of the gold foil around it, because I do think I want this end to tuck in just a tad. So we're just doing that sending love right there. And then I want this to also go in that same direction. So I'm going to just turn it around. And we're going to do this one more time, right close to that foil edge. Okay. It's great to have all of you joining. All right, so we have those two pieces. All right, the next thing that we are going to do is our two strips like this. We are going to make a banner edge out of those. Now, I will tell you, this is not my strong suit, but I am going to just do the best that I can. And I'm going to use my grid paper to help me line this up so that I get my cut right in the center. Okay, and so I am just going to go in about a quarter, well, maybe a little over a quarter of an inch. And I'm going to just go ahead and do it again on the other side. Okay, and like I said, I'm using my grid paper to line me up here so that I get it right in the center. And I'm doing the same kind of a snip. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut from the corner into that line. All right. So I'm just putting on my glasses because I cannot see that fine line. Very good. And I'm going to cut straight from the corner to the top of that trim. Okay. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do it again on this side like so. And there we have our banner edge. Okay. I don't need it to be very accented. And so it is very minimal, but I think it's going to be perfect. All right. So there we go. That is what we end up with. All right. So I'm just going to do it again on this one in case you missed what I did. But I'm using this dark line on my grid paper and I'm lining this up in the center. And then I am just making sure that I cut in a little bit over a quarter of an inch, which is one of those squares. And then one more time. Now, we do have dies probably in that one of the die sets that you can make your own banner. I'm not sure it would be this size, but you can also make your own banner without a die. And so I want you to see what that looks like, okay? And so once again, I am just lining this up just like you would if you were doing it with a trimmer. You're going from the corner to the tip of that cut, okay? Just like that. And then I'm going to turn it around and do it again on this side. And we're just going to line that right up. And so now we have two little banner pieces, okay? All right, so again, like I said, today's card is super simple. We are keeping things very, very simple with this card design, okay? Now, I did want to show you what I'm going to do on the inside of our card. So I have this piece here that we're going to use to put a little design or trim on here like so. So let's go ahead and glue this down. And I always like to use my multi-purpose liquid glue. It's my favorite adhesive. I just like how good and strong it is for all the things. And I don't have to worry about things coming up, especially where I live in this hot, humid place of Texas. And so I just find it's more durable. Okay. So I have that we're going to do right there. Okay. And then I am also going in the flower. And once again, I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow on here. Okay. And I'm going to stamp our flower right in this corner like so. And so I stamped sending love on the outside. And on the inside, I think we'll just put the Happy Valentine's on the inside. Okay. And again, I'm using the Mossy Meadow just simply because of the colors in this card design. So I'm just trying to line this up and hoping I get it as straight as I can. That looks pretty good. And it is a little tiny bit, I think, crooked, but we're good. We're good. And so there we go. I'm going to scoot that off. I'm going to put my Mossy Meadow back on my tray. So it's where I know it will be found the next time I need it. Okay, so here's what we have. This is what's going to go on the inside, and I'll just duplicate this using this additional strip on the inside for the other card. But for our cards, we are going to be doing a couple of things. So I'm going to have this layer on here. So let's go ahead and burnish the fold lines. Where's my bone folder? Right here. There we go. And let's go ahead and do this one as well. And just make sure, oh, these folds are really nice. Perfect. All right, so I'm going to have that layer piece right there and that layer piece right there. So basically same thing. Now this is from the envelope in the card, and we're going to put that on top of here like so. All right. And then we're going to have this one, which was a DSP piece. All right. This is just a piece of cardstock that we're going to layer on here like so. And I think because we have this image on here, I am going to go ahead and try to treat that a little bit like the background of our card. It's a little bit, this is a little bit crooked. I wonder if I could make this a little more even. So if I have 2 blocks down here, I could trim there. And then if I have 3, I could trim there. I think I'm going to trim this just to make it a little bit more even on the card. Okay. So I think right there. And then let's go ahead and trim this one right here. And I think that will be better for us. All right, so just gives us a little bit of a wider frame around here. And now when I put this on here, it's a little bit more even for what we're doing. And I kind of like that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do one more thing. We're going to make a layer on here that I think will help this to pop even more. This is the fun thing about doing alternates. Like you can just make up as you go what you're doing. And so that's what my favorite part is. Okay. So this piece here is about, it's slightly under 3 3/8. And now this piece is not quite 4 7/8. So if I want this to be 1/4 of an inch larger, actually we'll just do 1/8 of an inch on these. Okay. And then this one, what did it was 3. All right. So I think right there is going to be about 1/4 of an inch around. Perfect. I love it. I love it. Actually, I might need to take just a smidge off of here. Let me just get that right there. That was going to be perfect. All right. Now, I think I love layers. I don't know about you, but I really love layers. And I think this is going to be so great. So now we got some really good things going on. It pops that piece off there. Then when we add this, I think it's just perfect. Okay. And so that's going to go like that. Now on this one, we're doing the same thing. Just is going to look different because we don't have all the same backgrounds, right? But basically same card design. Now I am going to bring this one onto this card, and we are just going to tuck in this little bitty piece here. And now we're going to want to center this on here. So I think it's going to go like that. If I get this slightly underneath there, like so. So that's going to go like that on that one. And then this one, these are basically the same size. And they're going to go right here in the center like that. And those are the layers that we're going to have. Now, this is causing a lot of white on here. And so I am wondering what I can do to change that. So what I think I'm going to do is we're going to do some stamping on here. And we're going to use that cancellation stamp. And we're going to put it across this page to kind of cover up all that white. Okay, and so let me get my mat one more time. And we're going to use this cancellation stamp. I think this will be fun, actually. All right, so we are going to just come along, and I'm going to start off down here. And we're going to run this across here. So we're going to keep going like that. And I'm kind of graduating it up a little bit as I go. And so we're going to do that one more time up here. If I do it like this. And then like this here. All right. And then I'm going to do one more. One more right up here. Like that. So those are that's what we're stamped on right here. Okay. And I think this will help to make that feel better. Okay. So this is going to go on here like so. And yes. All right. Let's go ahead and put these layers together and start to see how this feels. I think I want to add a little bit of baker's twine to this because I just think that that would be a nice little addition. And so let me get our mat out of the way, get that busyness gone. And let's go ahead and see how we can put this together. So I'm just doing like a very fine line of glue on here because I just want these to get put together without a lot of extra. I don't really want I want my words to show, okay? But I want that to be straight on there. So I put that together like that, okay? And it's just barely on the back there. We're going to use dimensionals for this. So I'm going to get my dimensionals. I'm trying to use up some of these extras that I have from past kits. So just using that up. And so I'm just going to add one more right there. So we got that all connected, good to go. All right. The next thing we have is we're going to put this piece onto here. Yeah, that's the way it's going. I'm just making sure I don't mess up. All right. So we're going to now layer this onto here. Like so. Making sure it's all straight. All right. And then this is going to go right onto that background. All right. And I am gluing these down, not putting a lot of dimension to it, although that top piece will get dimensionals. Okay. So there we have that. Oh, I am loving this so much. Okay. Now this piece is going to get added right here. And you can see just the little tails of my banner are just touching the white on the layer, the basic white layer. And so I am just bringing this down like so and making sure it's straight. There we go. Let's move it that way just a tad. So there, that's what we end up with on that piece. Now I do want to add some baker's twine at this point. So I'm getting what I have here. I do have some white. Here it is. I knew it was out here. So I have some white baker's twine. And so I'm going to wrap this around. And I think I'm going to have the bow on the right side. So I'm just going around once. Most of the time I go around 2 or 3 times, but we're just going to go around one time. All right. And get this tied off right here. Looks like I had some things twisted. There we go. And then we're just going to make a little bow right here with our baker's twine. Now let's clean it up just a tad. There we go. We'll do a little trim here like that. All right, so we are going to go ahead and add this right here in the center, okay? And we have this already on dimensionals. All right. And we're going to just make sure we get this in the center of all the things, like so. All right. And so that's how it ends up. I love how this looks. Now, I did pull out some gems and things because I was like, what could we add to this? And so I like the idea of adding these iridescent basic pearls to this. I think it would just give that much more, like, just to the feminine side of this card, because it is blue, so we tend to think blue is for male, but I really do think it doesn't have to be. And so we're just going to add a few of these around. So I'm going to put one there. I'm going to take one of these bigger ones and put one up there. And then let's just add 2 more down here. Like that. Okay. So that's the outside. And then on the inside, for the inside layer, we're going to add this right in here. And I really do love how this came out. Again, super simple layers. And what a way to, like, you could really stretch the items in your kit because we have multiples of these. You could change the width of this banner and you could just repeat it over and over in so many different ways. But I don't know if you can see that, all the little pearls and everything on there, but it is so precious. So that's what we have. for that one. So now let's just finish up this one so you can see how that looks and how basically the same layout, you know, the same basic pattern can look so different. And the only thing different here is I brought in the DSP as opposed to using the envelope. And it did not have that middle place for, you know, an address like the envelope piece did. So we don't have to worry about that. And so we won't do a bunch of stamping on here. And that will just let you see how that looks even more. So this is going to go right in the center like that. And then I think for this, I will leave off the baker's twines just so you can see the difference. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and attach this here. Now I'm going to use a tiny bit of glue, again, right on that edge. I'm getting to the bottom of my glue. So let's just get that put on here. And I'm going to just be really careful with adding this. So line that up. I love using my grid paper to help me make things straight. And now that is lined up. Okay. Because this is going to go on here like so. And we're going to put some dimensionals on here, and we're going to secure that even more on that area where we just glued those two pieces together. And we're going to add this with some dimensionals. Okay, so this is just shows you one that is super full of added items like the baker's twine and the pearls. And then here is one with just very basic outside. Okay, so super simple. And now I'm going to put the same kind of inside. On the inside, I'm just going to use this in here, but it will look just like this one on the inside. But look at these two. They're the same, but so different, and all the little added things that you can do to it. I just love being able to show you guys that. So, all right, I have one more idea that I wanted to share with you today. So let me grab that here, and we are going to be using also, again, I'm bringing in a piece of cardstock. I got my little instructions here. So we're going to use a garden green piece of cardstock. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece here for the inside. I think this is 3.5 by 4 3/4 that we're going to put right on the inside of here. Okay. Now for this card, we're going to cut some layers. So we are going to cut another envelope, and we're going to use that as a layer. But I'm also going to use this piece here from that Love Notes DSP. I just think it's so pretty. I did do a die cut for the coordinating dies for this quarter's paper pumpkin. They are, oh my goodness, I have it here. They are called Beautiful Blooms. Okay, so I'm using that die right there. And then I did cut a piece of cardstock to go right on top of that, like that. And then I have a little sentiment label from the kit. I have the bloom from the kit. So let's go ahead and put this together. So we are going to cut this envelope open, and this is the probably second or third generation envelope of the Garden Green or Mossy Meadow. I'm not sure which one. I think they are similar, but I think this kit feels closer to a Garden Green than it does to Mossy Meadow. So that's my take. All right. All right. So this layer, we need this to be 3 inches by 5 1/4. And I do think we can use the outside or the back flap area for this. Let me get this out of the way and put our pearls back. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. It's getting in the way. All right, so I am just going to line that up right there and do that trim. So now I do think I can get 3 inches off of here. All right. And then I need this trimmed down. So I'm just going to trim off this little excess edge where the envelope would show 2 layers so that I can get a clean line and then trim off of this side. So now it just looks like a flat piece, even though I have these extra little strips on the back from how the envelope was made. It's flat on the front. Okay. So that's my first layer. Then my second layer, I'm going to use this one, and this one is going to be 3 1/4 inches, okay, by 4 3/4. All right, so we're getting that right here. And so we have that piece, and I'm going to get rid of these items out of the way. And then we have our third layer. And so I'm using the die cut. All right. And this piece here, the white that is layering on top of the die cut is 2 inches by 3 1/4 inch. And it's just perfectly, this makes a perfect layer for that postage die cut that is in the beautiful blooms. Okay. So we got, and then I did want to utilize a strip from here. Oh, you know what? Let's use this. Let's use this and see if I can use this at the bottom. Oh, perfect. We're just going to use this piece right here. I think that'll be great for the inside of the card. All right. So let's see here. As we start to put this together, let me get a little drink. And we'll do a little bit of stamping on here. Oh, I had 2 of those out. So let's see here. Let's do, what does this one say? Airmail. I think we will put the airmail. No, we're going to do just for you on this piece right here. But where is my Poppy Parade? I put it back. All right, here we go. Let's use our Poppy Parade, which is the ink spot that came in the kit. Okay. Let's go ahead and stamp on this sentiment piece. And I'm going to put it right out here. at that edge. All right, there we go. And let's see here. We're going to stamp on here in a couple of places with the love, love, love stamp. It looks like, you know, some kind of postage image. We're just going to put one down there, and then we're going to do one more up in this side here. And that. All right, so on the inside of our card, let's do the sending. Well, we'll do Happy Valentine's on the inside of here, like this. All right, so we have that, and then I am going to put the flower, but I want to clean that off because I probably should have cleaned that Happy Valentine's, although it looks fine. It was probably had green on it, probably. All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our little flower. We're going to put it right here, like so. And then we're going to add this right here. So the flower is going to be coming up from the bottom. So we're going to add this piece on like this right here. And that's going to go on the inside of our card. So let's just go ahead and add that in. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked the cards. I like to try different things, and I found some really simple sketches that I wanted to use, and so it just made this so easy. All right, so this is gonna go on here like this, and then this is going to go here, which I kind of wondered if that would show. So I'm gonna stamp that again and just put it a little higher. And it's going to go over the other one, but it's not going to show. So I'm not going to worry about that. Okay. But now it'll show a little bit, and that's what I was going for. All right. So let's go ahead and put this together. Okay. So this layer is going to go down first like this, and then this one's going to go on here like so, just like that. And then we're going to add this piece to the top of here, and it's going to go right there like that. And then this flower is going to come right here. And we're just going to add the Just For You right up here at the top. And I am going to trim this down just a tad. So like that. And there. So we're just shortening that just a little bit. Keeping the same shape, but there we go. I'm going to go like that. All right. So let's go ahead and put this together. See if we can make our glue last. I have the standby, but I might have to break it out because that's going to annoy me. There we go. So let me go ahead and open this up. It does make me feel good when I change my glue because it means I'm making progress. I've made stuff. I've accomplished tasks, right? I love it. But it's so nice when you have a brand new bottle because it comes out so quickly and easily. All right, so that's going to go there. I really love the colors of this together with the pinks and the reds and all of that. Now, something you could do here is we could have just stamped right on this piece of white. You could emboss this piece of white and give it more texture. So there's some fun things that you could do with that. We could stamp on here with that cancellation, but I'm going to leave it how it is. Okay. And so this one's going to go right on here, and I'm gluing this down, even though you could put it up on dimensionals if you wanted. I am going to put the sentiment on dimensionals, so that's one of the reasons why I'm not putting this on dimensionals. All right, so we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of our little sentiment here. And I'm just putting 2 on here. That we're going to add 3 to the back of our flower. Okay, like that. So let's go ahead and add our sentiment right here. So just for you. Okay, now I would like to use some ribbon, I think, on here. And I think it's so perfect to use this beautiful ribbon that it's a chevron, but it looks like little baby hearts to me, to go on the back of here. And so I am going to use a piece of tear tape on the back of our flower to tack it down. I think I cut this a little too long. There we go. And we're going to use that to tack down the ribbon because we're going to make like a little bit of a faux bow on the back of our flower. So I want to see, I think I want my flower like that. All right. So I'm going to just tack that down. And gonna make sure our bow is going out there. All right. And then let's see here. There we go. So we're just adding that little kind of a faux bow to the back of there before we put this onto our card. Okay. And so I'm just tacking that down like so. And I'm getting rid of our dimensionals right here. And I think that's how it's going to go right here. So I'm just adding it right on top of there like that. Okay, and so that is this card. And I do think that I want to add a little bit of shine element to it. So I'm going to grab those pearls again because I feel like they are so perfect for this. So I'm going to just stick one right down there, and then we're going to grab another one to put right there, and we're going to bring one right down here like so. And then we're going to put a couple more just down here at the bottom like that. So just a little bit of extra shine on here. Now you could easily add some Wink of Stella onto the flower or whatever, but I love it. I think this is so cute and so simple. You just need a few different elements for it. And like a focal point here, and you are good to go. But so easy to create like some really beautiful cards with just some additional cardstock and the elements from the kit. I did add some ribbon and gems on this one, but I know we all have those hanging around. So for sure you will have something that you can utilize as well. So let's just take a look at the 3 cards we made. And this one is just kind of a stepped up version of this one. And I just love it. So I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I think I'm loving the idea of keeping it simple and seeing how we can stretch our kit. I mean, seriously, you get, I don't know, I think 6 or 7 for that one card. I mean, look, you could make 7 cards with it, which would be a huge expansion to the card kit. So, thank you for joining me. If you like what you see, I hope that you will follow me on Facebook and I guess join my channel on YouTube if that's where you're at, and come back and join me next Sunday. I'll be back here at 4 p.m. Central, sharing more alternatives. Thanks, everybody. Have a good week.